Welcome back to Horror Recaps. My name is Freddie, and in a moment, you're going to listen to a frightening tale narrated by me. Beware, fear awaits you. Zach and Randy are two best friends living in a podunk town in Missouri. The town is very boring with nothing special going on, so they capture the people raw with their Bluetooth cameras and make a web series for their YouTube channel named The Zach and Randy Show. For this, they set up a studio at an abandoned barn. Episode 1 of their web series is out, and apart from their daily life, there are plenty of other things happening in it. First, they introduce the cable company of their town to the viewers. Then the episode exposes the face of the high schooler buying beer and the sheriff letting off the minor to do so. This almost leads them into trouble later on. Furthermore, the episode also features Pastor Greg from their local church inviting them to an event, and their neighbor, Miss Bissette, complaining about the little bugs found all over the fruit and the garden. It also catches a glimpse of the mother dragging a boy who's shouting that she's not his mommy. Zach has a crush on Kale, who has been his friend since 4th grade, but Zach has never gathered the courage to ask her out. Kale will go to Peru to pursue her further studies in 3 months, but she gets emotional at the thought of leaving her little brother Joey behind. In the meantime, Randy encourages Zach to confess before Kale moves out. Zach and Randy have their camera on them almost all the time, even when they are in Zach's house and his mom is cooking dinner. Randy keeps on filming her. Zach's father is a wheelchair user as both of his legs have been amputated because of a workplace accident. After dinner, when they are out, they hear screaming coming from Bissett's house. When they reach there and find the front door unlocked, they slowly make their way into the house, on the sight of blood droplets on the floor. Randy immediately dials the cops to inform them about the situation, but interestingly, the cops hang up on them. Then the duo hears faint crying coming from the closet, and when they open it, they see Bissette crying from fear. She then tells them that something has bitten her. Right then, something jumps out of the window, and immediately they run out to chase the rat-like creature. Later, they witness Pastor Greg driving away after the creature returns back to his box. The next day, they go to the police station and show the video from the previous day to Officer Josh. Deeming the situation unimportant, Josh dismisses the boys, not wanting to do anything with their series. He also tells the boys not to cause problems for Pastor Greg, whom he looks up to. Not getting any help from the police, Zach and Randy decide to pay a visit to Pastor Greg and confront him. They do not see the strange ball-like creatures flying high in the sky, but they do hear eerie noises just when they reach the doorstep of the church. The church is completely empty, so they descended into the underground floor. As the lights keep flickering, they see shadows behind one door. When they approach the door, it suddenly flings open, and Pastor Greg comes out. There are more people inside that room, sitting in circles, like they're in the middle of a critical discussion. Even after watching the video, Pastor Greg denies being the person in it. On top of that, he makes inappropriate remarks about Randy's mom and Zach's father. Randy's fuming with anger, but when the head sheriff comes out of the room asking if they have any problem, Zach takes Randy out of the church, not wanting to mess with the authorities. Since the police do not believe them, the two decide to post the video on the internet, hoping someone else will believe them, but since they have no service on their phone, their plan has to be postponed. Later that night, they go back to Bissett's place to ask her some questions. They are dumbfounded when she claims not to have been bitten the night before, and even shows them her leg with not even a scratch mark. Zach and Randy are confused by her statement, and that's when they hear loud noises coming out of her bedroom. When they ask her about the noise, she suggestively says that they can both come to her bedroom, but they do not go into her room and leave the house. On second thought, Zach goes around the house to record a video of Bissett's room. There, he sees someone tied up in the bed, and right next second, the sudden appearance of a man by the window frightens them to the core, and they run as fast as they can. Next, they show the video to Zach's parents, but they reprimand them for invading Bissett's privacy. Zach's parents are missing the main point, that the people are acting really weird. After his parents leave, they once again watch the video carefully. At that moment, they notice that the person on the bed and the one by the window are both the same person named Dylan. But how can that be? Just then, Kale comes to see them in the barn. She tells them that her father seems completely different, despite looking the same as always. Zach and Randy ascertain that's not just her father, but many people in their neighborhood are acting weird. When Kale suggests that they go to the police, the boys remind her that they have given it a shot, but it was to no avail. Now, Kale needs to go back home to search for her mother and Joey. Since the police are of no help, she plans that they all go to Kale's house and record everything that's happening, and in this way, people might believe them. On the way to Kale's house, they see townspeople not just acting weird, but everyone seems to be burning things in front of their houses. When the trio arrives at their destination, Kale's father is working with the disassembled mannequin. Zach excuses himself to use the restroom and heads upstairs in Kale's said direction to check out the rooms. However, the noise on the roof attracts his attention, so he goes to check the roof. There he discovers burnt residues and Joey hiding, who has come to the roof, searching for his mother. Since it has been quite some time, Kale's father heads upstairs and Randy shouts for Zach, asking if he has fallen there. Hearing the signal, Zach heads downstairs after instructing Joey to hide in his room. Given that his hands are covered in ashes and dirt, he enters the first restroom he comes across. The dirt does not come off easily, so he uses a towel to wipe his hands clean. By then, Kale's father is already knocking on the door. Zach can't leave the soiled towel in plain view, so to dump it, he lifts the lid of the trash bin. As soon as he lifts it, he is greeted by the horrific sight of Kale's mother stuffed into the trash bin. Nevertheless, closing the lid, he comes out and tells the others that they should get going. Outside her house, Kale asks what has happened. Zach does not want her to look at the scene he has just witnessed, but Kale is adamant to know about the truth. He eventually gives his phone to watch the recorded video, and Kale breaks down into tears after watching it. Now, she's terribly worried about Joey. Zach then promises to bring back Joey, but now is not the right time. The next day, after showing Josh the video from the previous night, they go back to Kale's house with him. Josh searches the house but cannot find anything, but they have never imagined that Kale's dead mother would come back to life. She comes out with Joey, asking them if they have some problem with her husband. Kale is happy to see her, but when she hugs her, she realizes that's not her mother. When Josh questions about the video, Pastor Greg comes out of the room and tells them that the video is fake and shows his disappointment toward him. When Kale wants to take Joey with her, her parents do not let her do so. Then, Josh leaves after giving the boys an earful for fooling him. Now that the situation has turned against them, Zach plans to get their parents and Joey and upload the video. He believes that once the footage spreads, people will send help, but the service is still down. When they reach the barn where their station is, they hear a clanking noise. Zach suggests that Kale stay out while they go take a look inside. Just as they enter the barn, they see Zach's father hammering something. His father, who should have been confined to a wheelchair, has grown a pair of legs, and naturally, it spooks them. Now, the boys have been trapped from both sides by the townspeople, and with nowhere to escape, two creatures are set loose into the barn. With the help of the phone's flashlight, they look around. Suddenly, one of the creatures bites Randy, and soon they find one strange-looking egg. Within seconds, a woman comes out covered in slime, who looks like Zach's mother. Then the woman runs and grabs his mother's head, and both of them scream their lungs out before the real mother is killed. Angered by this, Zach attacks his mother's copy with a broken shovel handle, and she lets out a shrill scream. Just then, Kale comes to their rescue. They successfully make their escape from there, but now they have no idea what to do next. By night, they arrive at Josh's place, but they're not sure if the one inside is the real Josh, so they had to be cautious. Thankfully, it is the real Josh. He himself has hunted his fake doppelganger and put a bullet through his head. He even apologizes for not believing them. Now Josh plans to take his doppelganger's body and the footage they captured to the FBI and ask for their help. After some discussion, they conclude that at first, the rat-like creature bites people to get their DNA. Then a copy is made that lacks the memories of the real person, so they hunt down their original one, get the memories, and ultimately kill them. If that is the case, then Randy is in danger. Just then, Josh discovers someone lurking outside. At first, it is just one, but after a moment, the fake Randy and the whole town people seem to have come to attack them. With the joint effort, the mass flips the house upside down. In the commotion, Josh gets dragged away while he's helping Randy. At that moment, Randy looks at his friend and makes a huge decision to sacrifice himself to protect them. He runs outside to distract all the people and runs deeper into the woods. On the other hand, Zach and Kale keep moving. Kale tells him that once they get Joey, they can escape with her mother's delivery van. But it is not as simple as it sounds. The whole street has been covered by people, and they almost got caught. With quick thinking, they imitate those fake people and move in a similar manner among them, until they reach Kale's mother's shop. On the street, what seems to be a bonfire is actually the fire for burning real people after they're replaced by fake ones. Then Kale tells Zach where he can find keys to the shop and van, and stands outside to keep guard. Next, Kale sees other children and Joey on the other side. To save her brother, she moves in that direction when Zach is busy searching for keys. She infiltrates the building and sees fake parents coaxing their children to get bit, and if that does not work, they even force them. In a few minutes, it's almost Joey's turn. One of the girls has her eyes on Kale, and as soon as a tear drops from Kale's eyes, that girl produces a loud scream to alert others. This results in Kale getting caught, but still, she shouts for Joey to run and hide in the cabin. Now, a creature is brought for Kale. Nevertheless, Zach comes to her rescue in the van and takes her away just in time. On their way, Zach notices Kale bleeding, but Kale is worried that the fake Kale will have her memories and remember Zach. At the same time, small bugs have come together inside the van to form a big spider-like creature. Suddenly, the creature jumps at Zach and bites him. Zach and Kale both chase after the creature, but they soon lose sight of it. Since the van has been found, there's no meaning in going back for it, so they move deep into the wood and witness a crowd of people there. Zach tells her that they have to make it to the cable company and upload their video from there to get the message out. Therefore, they keep on moving. However, by the water body, they meet the fake Randy, who has retrieved memories from the real one. While fake Randy is in conversation with Zach, Kale attacks him with a stone, and they both drown him in the water. Anyhow, they make it to the cable company and sneak in. There, they have an encounter with their doppelgangers. However, they find their way to the server room and upload the video on the internet. Still, the banging on the door continues. Playing the video of them talking on the screen, Zach lures their copies into the room, where the CO2 extinguisher system has been activated. Once the doppelgangers are inside, they lock the door and leave the fake ones to die. After getting out of the cable company, the two head to the cabin house where Joey has been hiding. The siblings reunite happily, but the broadcast on the television shakes the ground under their feet. It turns out that the whole world is facing the same situation. Also, it is revealed that their town is not the first, but instead, they are the last ones to suffer. Suddenly, their uploaded video gets a few views and comments asking, "Are you still there?" indicating that there are some real people out there surviving. Please make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thank you for watching.